Hey, it's Marissa. I've been wanting to make this video for such a long time. Today we are talking about buying a home in 2023. I want to share with you first why buying a home in this day and age has been so difficult and competitive, and why we have so many people with so many differing opinions going on. So first I'm going to share that with you, and then I'm going to share my best advice that I have for buyers if you're buying in 2023. So we experienced a time about a couple of years ago where interest rates were at 3%. So a lot of people refinanced during that time, and then they're like, why would I need to leave? Where would I go? So the people who are currently in their homes usually don't move unless they absolutely have to, and that has been contributing to low inventory, as well as people choosing to keep their first home and rent it out instead of selling it. Rentals are becoming more and more popular, and we're really feeling that squeeze because rents just in general are going up. And it's not just first-time home buyers, it's other buyers keeping the homes they have purchased and just renting them out as a way to build equity and have a passive income stream. So those are just a couple of reasons that we have low inventory. And when we talk about inventory, it always gets a little bit confusing. 6 months is considered balanced inventory. That would be where we have an equal amount of buyers, equal amount of sellers. It's pretty balanced, everything goes pretty smoothly, doesn't weigh in anyone's favor. However, we've been in a seller's market for the past couple of years. That means that there is more demand than there is supply. There's more buyers looking than we have homes available. So when we talk inventory, it's been at around 2 to 3 months when we're recapping the past month. So what that means when we're talking about months of inventory is if we start now and we take a snapshot of the market and we don't add any new homes onto the market, all of the houses that we currently have are going to get scooped up by buyers, and they're going to be gone within about 2 months. So that's very, very fast. Like I said, 6 months is considered balanced, and then anything over that would be that these houses are sitting a little bit longer, we have more inventory. So a couple of years ago, obviously we had our rates were at around 3%, sometimes even lower. And then we saw it kind of creep up end of 2022 to like 5 or 6%. And we did see a lot of buyers kind of back out of the market. They were outpriced. They didn't want to look when interest rates were that high. They were waiting for them to come back down. However, when rates hit around 6-7% and they stayed that way, they just stayed at a plateau, people were like, okay, this isn't going to improve anytime soon, maybe in the next couple of years, but it's not going to improve within a month or two. So maybe I will get back into the market, and maybe I'll just secure a home now and then refinance later. So we're seeing a lot more buyers come in now, which is making it so much more competitive. Another thing along with that are home prices, and we've heard people say, you know, I'm gonna wait until home prices go down. So the past couple of years, we have seen home prices appreciate like this, at a very fast and high rate. And home prices are projected to kind of plateau and even out. And then they're gonna be going like this. So it's gonna be slightly up, but it's not gonna be so drastic like it was before. As long as people are maintaining their homes and making necessary updates, typically their home is gonna appreciate each year. So I also wanna talk about then versus now, and I really wanna speak to current home buyers who have been on the hunt. They're hearing media over here, they're hearing relatives over here, just the general public all around telling them it's a terrible time to buy, you're crazy for buying, don't go over on list price, don't do this, don't do that. And the fact of the matter is that times have changed drastically, and if you're a home buyer in this market, you are not alone. There are tons of other people who are looking. That's why it's so competitive. Homeownership is a dream for many. I know it's not for all. There are definitely pros and cons to both renting and buying, so you just have to choose which one is going to better suit your needs. I like to be as transparent as possible. However, I'm also optimistic. So while I can't sit here and say that the market isn't difficult and you should just buy right now, this is the greatest time to buy ever, I think the best time to buy truly is when it's something you want and something that you're ready for. So if you're not financially ready for it at the moment, or if it's something that you absolutely don't want, then that's totally fine to stay out of the market right now. However, I think that if it's something that you want and it's something you can financially make happen, I do think right now is a good time to buy. If the only thing that's holding you back are home prices and interest rates, I highly encourage you to reach out to a lender, a real estate professional, to run some numbers, run some different scenarios. I have some advice today that might help offset that cost a little bit more. But believe me, I want to sympathize with you that it is difficult. And if you're hearing anyone say that it's not difficult and to just work harder, then you have my full sympathy, truly. I know how difficult it is. I'm looking right now myself, so I wouldn't say that if I didn't truly believe it. However, if homeownership is a dream of yours, I really want to help you make it happen. So without further ado, I have my list here of some of my best advice for home buyers in 2023. So let's hop into it. The first thing is going to be probably super obvious and eye-rolling. It's patience. But if you can avoid getting yourself in a situation where you feel like you're in a rush to buy a house, that will help you so much. So let's say my lease is up next month and I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself to buy a home. That might not be the best situation to be in. So the less you can put a deadline on things, the better. The more patience you can have, the better. Another thing is to be aggressive and competitive with your offer the first time instead of losing out on 3, 4, 5 offers and then learning a lesson. Although there will always be more houses to come up on the market, you want to be sure that you're putting your best foot forward first. This is an odd time because you could have a house within a week if you're willing to make an aggressive offer, or you could be looking for months if you are kind of holding back, hesitating a little bit. So you got to be ready to jump on the roller coaster. Don't worry, I got you. So we're going to make it through this together and really rely on your support system during this time. Another thing that I tell people about offers, we want to make a good enough offer to the point where we are not going to regret if we get rejected. We know that we put our best foot forward and that's all we can do. And on the same token, we want to make sure that if we get the house, we're not like, oh crap, I should not have done that in my offer. I feel really uncomfortable right now. This is maybe way more than I wanted to pay, and now I have this house and I'm stuck with it. So you want to find kind of like the fine line. So like if you submit an offer, you find out, okay, it's rejected, then you're like, okay, I can live with that because I know I went as high as I was comfortable with and I waived these contingencies, but I didn't waive this one because I knew that I would feel uncomfortable with that. That should make you feel good. You don't want to be like, oh, I really wish I would have gone $5,000 more. I could have gone $5,000 more and I wish I would have. Or I wish I would have waived this and I didn't, and that would have got us the house. You don't want to be saying, what if? And then, like I said, you don't want to get into the house, regret things. Another thing on that line is making sure you run monthly payment estimates with your lender before you submit offers. So this is actually something that I have been starting to require for my buyers because although you can be pre-approved for, let's say, $400,000, maybe I don't want to spend that much per month, so I want to check with my lender. Also, taxes can be different on every single property, so you want to make sure that you are comfortable with the monthly payment. Along with the lending side of things, you want to find a lender who is going to be willing to look at the situation from every different angle. It's important that they find all of the possibilities that you can do with what you have in your situation. My next one, of course, is going to be a bit of an eye roll one again, but of course I have to say, make sure you have a good real estate agent. So someone that is full-time, devotes their time to this, does research, really treats it like it's their own personal purchase. So what I do for my buyers right now is I make a spreadsheet of list price versus sold price, all the properties that we've seen. If we're thinking, you know, I've gone 15 grand over and I'm not getting it. Well, if we look at the data and we see that these homes are actually going $20,000 to $30,000 over, maybe we need to rethink our strategy a little bit. Maybe we look at a lower list price so we can make up that difference, or maybe we implement new things. And you can also see the loan type online, so we can see if it's sold for cash or if it was a conventional loan, FHA, VA, so we can get a better idea of what we're up against. My next piece of advice is to not focus on resale value too much. If you can see yourself living there for a couple of years and you can see it as a place you're willing to pay to live, then I think that is good enough for the time being. Obviously, we have our inventory shortage right now. We're not sure exactly when that's going to get better. It can definitely take time. It could take years and years. By the time you go around to sell, it could still be a seller's market. So I think really focusing on resale value too much could be a hindrance and could hurt you in the long run. A financial tip that I have for you is, if possible, and if it's something you want to consider, you could consider having renters or roommates within your home. So maybe you have a good friend who you wouldn't mind living with you for a while that can offset the cost of that monthly payment. Another thing, which I mentioned already before, is to look at the property taxes. So certain cities and towns will have higher property taxes than others, and you'll notice that other cities and towns will have incredibly low property taxes. So you will learn, if you keep looking at these, that there will be kind of a range where you feel comfortable with, and that's going to line up with your monthly payment and what you want to spend. My last piece of advice for you as a buyer in 2023 is to avoid listening to outside sources the best that you can. So those relatives that maybe don't have the best outlook on buying a home right now, the general public, the media, the best thing for you is to keep trucking along, trust in your real estate agent, trust in your lender, trust in your support system. If no one has told you yet, I just want to say that I am proud of you for embarking on your journey towards home ownership. Again, if it's something that you want, I really want to help you make it happen. So if you have any questions about the home buying journey, I would love to help. So please reach out. And I hope this video was incredibly helpful and eases your mind a little bit. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in